Our last lesson for this unit is going to be writing an inequality from a graph. First, we're going to remind ourselves of how to check to see if an ordered pair is a solution to an inequality. Remember when we learned how to graph inequalities and we would check which side of the line to shade on? Well, we need to remember that skill when we're writing the inequality so we know which inequality to use for our graph. We will substitute -3 for y, and we will substitute 4 for x, and check to see if the inequality is true. 3 times 4 gives us 12, and 12 minus 5 is 7. So our question is -3 greater than 7? Of course, the answer is no. When we start writing an inequality from a graph, it's very similar to writing the equation of a line from a graph. We try and identify what the y-intercept is, where the graph crosses the y-axis. In our case, that's -1. And then we try and find any other nice coordinate on the graph that our line goes through to get our slope. I'm seeing a rise of 2 and a run of 3 for a slope of positive 2/3 because my line is rising. When I first set up the line, I'm going to leave the inequality symbol off because I'm not sure if it's going to be a greater than or a less than. And then I substitute in my 2/3 x minus 1. Next, I'm going to pick any ordered pair on the side of the line that is shaded. Knowing that my slope is 2/3, I want to pick an ordered pair where the x coordinate is a multiple of 3. So I'm going to pick 3, 0, which is on the side of the line that is shaded. I'm going to substitute 0 for y, and I'm going to substitute 3 for x. And then I'm going to figure out which way my inequality should face to make this a true statement. If you're a little nervous about leaving that space there and not quite sure what to do with it, one thing you could do on this one, we know that the line is solid, so we know that it's an or equal to inequality. So if putting a line there helps you, or you could put a question mark, or you can put an equal sign until you get to the point where you can replace it with an inequality, just so you have something to separate the two sides. 2/3 times 3, my 3's cancel, leaving me with 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So now is where we think about which way should my inequality face in order to make this true. Is 0 greater than 1, or is 0 less than 1? Of course, 0 is less than 1, so this is a less than or equal to, so I can fill in all of those inequalities once I figure out which statement makes that true. Let's look at that one more time. I'm sure you have the equation of the line down, but let's double check that shading and make sure we have that skill down. Finding where my graph crosses the y-axis from my starting value, and then finding any other nice point or coordinate on my graph to find my slope. Notice my line is falling, so I know my slope is negative. In this case, I'm going down 3, right 1, so my slope is -3. Putting that into, I'm going to put an equal sign this time to keep the sides of my inequality separate because it's just a greater than or a less than on this one because my line is dotted. So I've got a slope of -3 and a y-intercept of 2. This time, nicely, my 0, 0 is shaded, so I can use that one to substitute in for x and y. -3 times 0 is 0, and 0 plus 2 is 2. So which way should my inequality face to make this statement true? 0 is less than 2, or 0 is greater than 2? Of course, 0 is less than 2 is the true statement, so when I write the inequality for this line, I will have y is less than -3x plus 2. You have 2 U-try questions. The first one is checking to see if the inequality is true. And the second one is practicing writing the inequality from the graph.